So the first half of 2025 just flew by, but not without teaching me some life lessons about money, mindset, and showing up for myself. So here are some life lessons I'll be taking with me from the first half of 2025 to the second half of 2025. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Peace and I'm just a girl documenting a journey to financial freedom while practicing intentional living here in Lagos, Nigeria. So if you're interested in anything finance, personal development, self-growth and all that stuff, travel, coffee, all that juicy stuff, you might want to join this family for all of that because I'm all of that and more. So if you're new here, you're very welcome. So let's get right into it. So guys, as you can see, I'm currently wearing white, which is unusual for this channel because we usually wear black on black on black on black on black. But today I decided to usher myself into the second half of the year, wearing white, being symbolic to purity and all of that. So you might want to join in on this energy that I currently have. But now I'm going to be sharing with you some of the things I've learned in the first quarter of the year that I am taking with me to the second quarter of the year because they were very impactful in how I think about money, my mindset towards life, some work-life realizations and habits I now do in my day-to-day. So let's get right into it. Saying no is a form of strategy. So guys, because I now do social media, aside from my YouTube, I have my TikTok where I still share like financial tips that are helping me. We basically discuss on there, just casual. It's just that it is in a shorter form, so you might want to go and join in on those juicy stuff because I share all about my life on that space. But because I now do TikTok and have fun at it, and I've grown my follower count to like 6,000 something, almost 7,000, I'm now beginning to get those nano influencer deals, different companies, especially when it comes to finance apps like finance companies or people that are trying to put their product out there. They are now beginning to reach out to me. But I found that I've turned down a lot of money, even while I feel sad about turning down money. But I feel like my reputation is much more important to me, and the fact that the people that follow me on these social media platforms trust me well enough to bring them only good things that will help them to grow their money. So many brand deals that I've gotten that are not aligning with my personality, with my long-term goals. Like, I don't want to introduce people to schemes whereby they can have, where there's potential for them to lose their money, where there's just no hope of them making enough money. So whichever brand I'm bringing to my audience, I know that it's something that's going to be beneficial to them in one way or the other, even down to the littlest benefit to them. I'll bring it to them. But as long as I see that anything that has to do with scheme, bring this person to bring that person, I've decided to wash my hands off it because Nigeria has not got good reputation when it comes to that. So whether the money is big, because I got a brand deal that they were willing to pay me 200k just for me to make this video. But when I think about it, the number of people that are going to watch this video, and then they might make decisions based off of what I've told them, then they now end up losing money. Like, when I think about all of that, I prefer to say no than to say yes that is going to impact my future or the people that's around me. I don't want that, and especially like I fear a lot, so I don't want anything that's going to tarnish the reputation I've worked hard to build. Integrity is very important. So sometimes saying no is a huge strategy, not just in this aspect. In other aspects, maybe somebody is telling you like come and borrow me this money, they are going to pay you back, but that this person does not have the reputation of paying you back. So why don't you just decide to give the person what you can contribute to whatever venture they are trying to achieve, rather than giving them the money that that when you borrow them this money, they will turn nonchalant and you will now start chasing them for your own money that they've given you a timeline to pay back. I've had these experiences in different forms. So sometimes saying no is a strategy, and that is one of the habits I will swear by every day, anytime. You need money to make money. I've always had this idea or this realization in my life, but the fact that people don't really talk about it enough is something that is troubling. So I was talking with my sister recently where we were talking about money because she came around to my house, so she had a training and we're just talking about money, and she got me thinking of how stable my life is because I've been able to do so many investments in such a way that now I don't think so much about money, rather I'm thinking of what is the next step. So I've just been able to create these sources of income, these streams of investment that is now bringing me enough money to say, okay, I can live a comfortable life. But then I did not want to disregard the fact that this started just because I had the money to even make these investments. So I've been working for 7 years now, and this 7 years has been like a lot of experience from me having paid salary that is enough for me to take care of my day-to-day need, travel, drink the coffee that I love, to make investment that the average Nigerian cannot make. So all this ties around the fact that you need money to make money. So if I did not have this opportunity to get a job in the first place, especially being Nigeria, which has a high unemployment rate, I would have not been able to make the investments that I did. And if I did not even start making money, I would have not been able to travel as much or even have that peace of mind of knowing that I can take care of myself economically. So you need money to make money. Don't allow anybody to deceive you. It is very important. If you are one that is thinking that manna will fall from heaven, sorry. You need money to make money. Small habits compound over time. So over time, I've just learned that small money compounds to make big money. So I currently work in a company that is considered one of the big companies in Nigeria, right? But one of the benefits of me being in this company is registering for the cooperative of my company. And recently I just got my interest from investing in this cooperative. But why am I telling you this? It is because every month they take a certain amount of money from my account without me even feeling it. So I've just gotten used to whatever drops into my account. That is what I used to do, my budgeting and all that. But then now, because of this monthly deductions that have been done on my account for so long or throughout last year, now they are paying me interest, and I'm not getting the reward of me bearing with this deduction, which does not have so much impact on what my expenditures are. This is a good example of small drops of water makes an ocean. You can decide to start saving 500 naira every day right now, $1, whichever currency you're currently using. Make it a habit of saving a certain amount of money every month. Whether it is saving, whether it is investing, make it a habit of saving every single month. When you create discipline, you find that you can gain or reap the reward of you consistently doing this thing, and then it becomes a habit that it does no longer feel like work. Aside from the cooperative I've talked about, it is how I've been able to grow my investment to such a place that I've now become so stable that okay, every month I know that aside from my salary, I'm getting something from my investments, because I've been consistent in investing, in savings. So you need to understand that small money habits compound. Whether money habits, whether your day-to-day habits, it compounds. Let me give you a typical example. So normally in my company we are being paid lunch, right? So but from this lunch I found that like me eating from the canteen in our company, because some companies will just say okay, they'll give you a voucher and you go and eat, right? But as we are paid this money, but now I found that if I go to the canteen every time, like the money that I'm even being paid is not enough for me to buy things from that canteen, because those ones, they cry inflation more than the typical Nigerians, but they forget that we too will go to the market, we know the cost of these things. Just tell me why you're selling pomo that is how many, like when I know that I can buy one pomo 500 and cut it into 5 pieces, and you're selling one piece of that 500 again. So like that is how ridiculous. I know they are in business to make money, but sometimes it does not make sense. So I found that me taking food to work, because after all at the end of the month I buy groceries, so me taking food to work has saved me a lot of money. And now I've become so consistent with it that the money I'm supposed to be paying to these people, I can now use it to do more productive things. And now I even decide to start our own mini cooperative with my friend. Now every week we know that we're going to be taking out a certain amount of money from this our supposed lunch to save. When it is now Christmas, this money has compounded. Last year we made almost 400k from doing these savings. Just imagine at the end of this year now that we started from January, because that last year we started from like July or so, and we made almost 400k. Just imagine from January. But this is just to show you how important small habits are. They compound over time. You don't have to have it all figured out, you just have to start. So this is something that many people have told you about, especially if you're on TikTok. I believe you've seen that just start video, everybody's telling you just start. You must have heard it a lot of times, and the word just flies by your ear. But just start means you don't have to be perfect from the start. Just look at me talking comfortably to this camera now. Before now, oh god, like I would be fidgeting. I'll even be thinking of the videos that I'm about to make. Like it now makes you forget whatever you're going to talk about, so the videos does not come out perfect. But the fact that I've now stopped waiting for me to figure it out, before I decide to post these videos. Now you receive it. If you find value from the main points, fine, but just you now look beyond whatever other characteristics I'm displaying, but there's value in what I'm saying. But the idea is that you don't need to wait till you figure things out before you start. Like, who would have told me that I would have grown my TikTok from 0 to 6,000 followers from just December to this time I'm making this video right now? But it is just because I decided to start. Now people know me about money, so when I'm posting vlogs, it is easier for them to consume it because they want to see what my life is like behind the scenes. At the end of the day, you don't need to wait for you to figure it out before you start. Just start, and people will resonate with you and relate with whatever you're going to be sharing with them in your whatever you decide to do. Not just social media, like however life comes at you, just start. You'll figure it out along the way. Community matters. So just like how social media can be a curse sometimes, it can still be a blessing, and most times a huge blessing. You just have to pray that you're on the positive side of the social media spectrum, because social media can be a very funny place. But one thing that really showed me how community is important is the following I have on TikTok. So alongside this one, I'm just currently growing it, so it's just one video that made me to blow up like this now, that okay, I'm having 1,000 followers, of which the channel is not yet monetized, so many people don't even know me yet, but it is a budding channel. But on my TikTok family, I already have that community of people who are always like, when I buy a cup of coffee, you find somebody in the comments saying, financial leader, this is a bad financial decision. But those things along those lines, even when it is jokes, but you having somebody that's going to tell you, okay, this thing you are doing is not good, or this thing you have to reduce it because it is impeding on your finances. All this is just to show you how people can go along with you on your journey, even when your journey looks like it is over your head, it is unrealistic, but just make people feel like they can join in on that journey and answer people with honesty. That is one thing I've learned. Like, when people keep saying consistency is key, I'm a typical example of it. On TikTok, I've been posting every single day since December, and I've now grown this lovely family that are happy to share my journey with me, and I've been loving it so far. And I'm really hoping more growth for myself in this second quarter or this second half of the year, because like I said, this white symbolizes something good. So you might want to join in. If you're new to this channel, you're very much welcome. If you've been here before, you're welcome back, because I'm always going to be your smiley little piece. These are some of the life lessons that I've learned in my first half of the year. This does not mean that I've not known about these things, but they resonated more, or they showed their face more in this first half of the year. So I'll be taking them with me to the second half of the year. This is not to say that some bad things did not happen, because life is a mixture of things, but the energy you give to life is what you receive, at least most of the times. From my experience, I've had mostly positive things, and some of them I'm going to be taking with me to the second quarter, especially when it has to do with how I make more money, how I shape my mindset, and how I form the habits I have around life. So let me know in the comments, what's your biggest life lessons since the start of this year up to this point, or what's one thing you would like me to know? I would love to hear from you in the comments. While at it, make sure to click that like button, subscribe to the channel, join this family for all the juicy tips on personal finance, self-growth, personal development, all the juicy stuff, my trips, which I'll be bringing to you guys more often on this space. We don't have to be all serious, because just as I am documenting my journey to financial freedom, I'm practicing intentional living. That's me drinking coffee, which I love so much, traveling and all of that. So you might want to click in and join in on that journey. So after you click that subscribe button and click that like button, let's go and check out this other video where I share another financial tip which has really impacted my life. I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.